Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX with me, Devika Devan. A massive political and public storm is now building around the Twisha Sharma death case. The 33-year-old former Miss Pune contestant was found dead at her in-laws' home in Bhopal just 5 months after marriage. And now chilling final messages have come to the surface, including one saying, quote unquote, "I am trapped, I feel suffocated." While Twisha's family has demanded a fresh post-mortem at AIIMS Delhi and a transfer of the probe to Delhi, alleging Twisha's in-laws' influence in Bhopal, Twisha's mother-in-law has now alleged drug abuse by her daughter-in-law. Police have formed a special investigation team while her husband Samarth Singh remains absconding even as the court has rejected his anticipatory bail plea. Authorities are now moving to suspend his passport amid fears that he could flee the country. But we have some critical updates coming in. Exclusive CCTV footage linked to the death of Twisha Sharma has now surfaced. One of the CCTV footages on your screens right now, viewers, shows Twisha wearing a pair of shorts and a t-shirt. She's walking up the steps of their apartment and she's holding something in her hand. It seems some sort of a band. It's not a rope, but it seems like a band or a belt. As per even the reports that have come out claim that a belt was used, and the time stamp is around roughly 7:20. So that's the first visual on your screens. I'll come to the next one in just a moment, but Nitesh Shukla joins me from Bhopal. Nitesh, दो CCTV footage न्यूज़ को मिली है। हम अभी पहली सीसीटीवी फुटेज अपने दर्शकों को दिखा रहे हैं। नितेश, आप हमारे दर्शकों को और क्या बता सकते हैं? इसमें हमें दिख रहा है साफ कि ट्विशा कहीं ऊपर जा रही हैं विद समथिंग इन हर हैंड. शी इज होल्डिंग समथिंग इन हर हैंड. व्हाट इज इट? Akram joins me now from Greater Noida. Akram, do you have more information about the CCTV footage?
देखिए, ये जो ग्रेटर नोएडा की जलपुरा में ये घटना हुई है, उसको लेकर पुलिस ने 7 लोगों के खिलाफ एफआईआर दर्ज की है, जिसमें ताजा अपडेट ये है कि पति और सुसर को गिरफ्तार कर लिया है। इसके अलावा जो परिवार की तरफ से तहरीर दी गई है, उसमें आरोप लगाया है कि 14 महीने पहले जो उनकी बेटी थी, उसकी शादी यहाँ जलपुरा में हुई थी, जबकि ये मूल रूप से ग्रेटर नोएडा के पूड़ीखेड़ा गांव के रहने वाले हैं और उन्होंने अपनी हैसियत के मुताबिक तकरीबन 1 करोड़ रुपए करीब जो दहेज।
अकरम, आपने अभी क्या कहा? पति को गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया है? किसको गिरफ्तार किया है?
देखिए, जो 2 घटनाएं, एक मध्य प्रदेश की है, दूसरी ग्रेटर नोएडा की है, जिसमें ग्रेटर नोएडा वाली घटना में वो भी दहेज हत्या का मुकदमा दर्ज किया गया है, जिसमें जो पति और ससुर है उसको गिरफ्तार कर लिया है, जबकि इस पूरे एफआईआर में 7 लोगों को नामजद किया गया है। बाकी लोगों के लिए पुलिस की जो टीम है वो लगी हुई है और इसका पोस्टमार्टम हो चुका है। उसके अलावा जो उसके बदन पर चोट के निशान है, उसको भी पुलिस तफ्तीश कर रही है। पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट के बाद ये साफ हो पाएगा कि आखिर चोट के निशान कैसे।
Okay. All right, Akram, I'll come back to you in just a moment. Let's try to please get one of our reporters who can explain the CCTV footage as well. Let's put out the second CCTV visual before I bring in guests who've joined us on the broadcast. We have several of Twisha's friends and one of her cousins who joins us on the broadcast. But can we put out the 2 CCTV visuals on the screens for our viewers? Let's just put them side by side. On the left side, let's put out this visual that's on our screens where you can see Twisha walking up the steps, viewers. This is footage from right before she allegedly committed suicide. On the right sides of your screens, we're going to put out another CCTV visual in which you can see a timestamp of roughly an hour later, where a man also dressed in a pair of shorts can be seen performing CPR right at the head of the steps, which are visible on your screens, viewers. We're going to quickly put out the second CCTV visual as well. So right there, you can see on the left sides now of your screens the visual that I was talking about. That's a 2-minute long CCTV footage in which you can see a man performing CPR, and a couple of minutes later, another person joins him. Then there is some commotion. A third person comes out of the apartment building that's at the base of the steps. The person looks up, but they walk away unfazed. Very bizarre reaction to a dead body in your staircase. And then a couple of people help this man who is allegedly Twisha's husband bring the body down the staircase. The visuals are roughly an hour apart from each other. There is no clarity on any visual in between. Of course, the key here is when exactly does the husband in this case go up? At what point did he climb up the steps? At what point did he figure out what's happened? Who informed him? All of these gaps remain, and of course her husband continues to be on the run. Let's quickly bring in some of our guests as well. We have, I've been told, Manav Sharma. He's a cousin of Twisha. Komal Kini, Twisha's friend, is with us. Komal, are you with us? Roshni Shaheen. Samira Sehgal. Could I request Samira if you're with us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Manika. Manika, are you with us?
Yes, hi, yeah.
Rashi and Kanchan, we've been told, two more of Twisha's friends. So we have a lot of people now, viewers with us, who know her very well. Let me begin this conversation one by one to just understand their perspectives, and we'll quickly go over with everyone on what they feel about the case. Let me begin with Manav Sharma, who is a cousin of Twisha. Manav, this is a very critical and tough time for your family. My condolences to your family.
Thank you.
And I can't imagine what's it like, to suffer a loss of a family member and then to have to sit on television and to put out a protest. So, more power to your family at this point in time. But Manav, what is it that you'd like to share about your cousin with our viewers?
The biggest thing that I can tell about her is that she was a person who was full of life, the happiest person I've known, and someone who went out of her way to make sure that people stay connected. We obviously stayed in different cities, so it was not very easy for us to communicate on a daily basis, but she made sure to send me letters, to send me gifts, to make sure that we are connected, that we talk. And she's the kind of person who would completely brighten up a room. And no matter what you're going through, she just make you laugh. And it is an utter shock that she has gone. This is something that nobody can process. Neither have they had the time to do it because of everything else going on, all the corruption that we're facing in Bhopal. And I still cannot believe it because this is someone I just spoke to last month. And
So
now she's gone.
Manav, when you spoke to Twisha, it's been only 5 months since her marriage. I'm sure those were slightly happier days and a happier time. But when you spoke to her a month back, was there any sort of indication, or sometimes there is some sort of an understanding amongst the family members that okay, she's going through some troubles or there is some problem? Was there any sort of indication that you were aware of?
There is no indication to be aware of because up until last month, the way that we communicated was quite normal, and she wished me a happy birthday. And this is something which makes it more of a shock. She was never the kind of person who would do anything to herself. And the moment that I received the news, which is completely false, this is something completely unexpected, and this is not possible for such a happy person to do on their own.
Manav, further, when you hear now her husband's side of the family coming out and saying that there was the drug abuse problem, etc. How do you react to that?
There is no drug abuse problem at all. And these are just stories made up to strengthen their own falsified case, which is not only corrupted but false. There is zero indication of drug abuse at all.
So you think that this is clearly an attempt by the family to malign her image?
Yes, exactly.
When was the last time, Manav, that you spoke to Twisha's husband? Or when was the last time that you met them at maybe some sort of, after their wedding, was there any sort of a meeting?
After their wedding, we had my brother Harshit's wedding, that is Twisha's sibling. That is the last time we met. And other than that, the only real conversation we've had is obviously at their wedding, which was in December. Nothing else otherwise.
So at this particular wedding, was there any sort of a feeling that you got from the couple? Of course, I'm assuming that Twisha's husband was also present now that he was a son-in-law.
Present, but there was no such indication. And every little aspect of this that has led up to this makes it more shocking than ever.
What to you, Manav, is the most shocking aspect of the entire narrative that is being drawn right now?
One of the most shocking aspects to me right now, currently, whatever corruption that we're facing for such a clear case, where not even an FIR was registered until nearly 2 days after, that even though bail has been rejected, he is still on the run. The harassment we have faced at the court, the amount of protests that we have had to do just to get a simple report stamp done.
And
It really makes me lose my faith in what kind of stuff is going on just because these people have influence after what they've done. This is, other than every other little detail about the case, that just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Even the autopsy of all things has been tampered with. That is why we want everything to be shifted to the Supreme Court in Delhi, so that we can have a case that is not influenced, something that we can do fairly.
Absolutely. No, Manav, thank you so much for joining us with that perspective. Of course, Manav is a cousin. He's met Twisha at several family functions recently, but there is always a difference between what one portrays to one's family versus what you might tell your friends. So on that note, let me bring in some of Twisha's friends who are joining us this evening as well. We have with us Manika and Roshni. Let me begin with Roshni. Roshni, I want to understand from you, what is it that you can share about Twisha with our viewers?
You can hear me?
Yes.
I have my friends Angela and Ritu as well. We were close to her for 3 years. We were Vipassana meditators. That's where we all met Twisha. Twisha was very hopeful. She got married. That was one of the things that she wanted to do, get married, have a life. What has happened is completely unfortunate. We've known her now and then, we've traveled with her. She's been a joy. This is an absolute alarming turn of events. None of us expected it. None of us saw this coming. And it's ridiculous to even be in this situation and see our friend go through this and have to experience and end this cruel.
You say, Roshni, that this was completely unexpected. So am I to assume that at no point, when you met Twisha, or did she indicate that there was any sort of stress at home?
She was happy. She did not interact with us too much during that time. But in that moment, we assumed that she's busy having a happy married life. So we gave her that space, gave her time. But what is going on behind closed doors, I think there's a lot of stigma going on. There's a lot of unease in communication, a lot of shame, so much that she must have faced where she was not able to communicate and express everything that she was going through with us. And that is what is unsettling.
Okay.
Because we're in a position where we feel There's so much that we could have done. We could have helped her. We could have talked her out of a tough situation. So much that we could have done. I don't know. There's a lot of what ifs at this point in time.
And Roshni, what do you make of now some of the allegations that are coming against her, that she was depressed, that there was drug abuse, that there's a history of drug abuse?
Absolutely ridiculous. We've known her. But they're tarnishing her reputation. It's character assassination. It's ridiculous. We're talking about a young girl who got married, and this is the outcome of it. And now all of these random things are coming up. For what?
Okay. Let me on that note.
Someone.
Yes, go ahead, Roshni. Make your last point. Let me bring in others in as well. We have Samira with us, Manika and Rashi. Let's put them on our screens as well. Manika, let me begin with you.
Yeah.
What is it, Manika, that you would like to share with our viewers today about Twisha? Where do you know her from? How well do you know her?
I know Trisha from the last 12 years. She's my sister's college friend, basically. That's how I met her. She used to come home a lot in Pune, Indira College, Pune. She used to come home a lot. And when I first met her, I remember her saying ki Sakshi ki behan, meri behan. And she suddenly made me feel so comfortable, like as if I was her younger sister, her own younger sister. She was the most loving person I've met. First time I met her, I didn't feel that I'm meeting her for the first time. She talked about her aspirations to be an actor. She talked about so many things like reading good books. She was so well spoken, and I remember looking at her. I was like amazed ki such a strong girl she is, and she speaks so confidently. She was so vocal, so expressive. Her communication power was so strong. She used to express herself with the right words at the right time, and her Hindi, her English, everything was so on point. I couldn't believe what has happened because I've lived with her. My sister has lived with her when she shifted to Bombay. My sister shifted to Bombay. When I shifted to Bombay, she made me feel so comfortable in Bombay that she guided me through my acting career. She guided me through so many other things. We were connected. She used to talk about yoga, meditation. We used to talk about spirituality. She used to do Monday fast. She used to keep Monday fasts for a good husband. She was very happy when she was getting married. She told me when her Roka was done that I'm finally getting married, and she was so happy meeting Samarth. I don't know what happened. Suddenly everything, she just shut down. She didn't speak to anybody. They must have
So Manika, somewhere,
broken her so-
did you feel that after, everyone is saying the same thing, that after marriage somewhere she did shut down, that she stopped speaking to her friends? And of course, when someone gets married, the basic assumption is that, you've just started a new life, everything is so new, and you just want to give the couple space.
The entire family and friends, they all feel that she's just gotten married, let's give her space. Even the family feels that let's not interfere much, let's not talk to her. Like everything changes. It has become a stigma that everything has changed. It's such a big change in your life that everyone around you wants to give you space, and that's what we try to do. But we always thought that she's happy, she's having a happy married life.
That's, this is where it's so tragic, because everyone's on their end just trying to do the right thing, but you don't know really truly what goes on behind closed doors. Let me bring in Samira Sehgal into the conversation as well. Samira, same question to you. How do you know Twisha? What can you share about her with our viewers? Your last maybe conversation with her, memory with her?
Ma'am, I've known Twisha since 2013. I met her in Pune. And, very similar to what Manav said, she would lighten the entire room. Her presence would actually, she was such a vibrant, full of life person. Always happy, always smiling. I've seen her come through a lot of ups and lows in life. but she's always come out of them as a stronger person. She's helped us through a lot of things, and she's always guided us in the right direction. She was a lot into spiritualism. She used to keep a fast on every Monday without fail. She would keep a fast on Monday. She's a very strong person, and it is just unimaginable what has happened to her. She was very happy when she was getting married. She was very excited about her marriage, and she would talk to me about what color lehenga should I wear. It's a day wedding, and what would look nice on me, and all of those things she would talk about. So as a young girl getting married, and she's so excited about starting her new family. But she disappeared after her marriage. I tried calling her a lot of times. I tried contacting her a lot of times, but it just seemed like she's entered into a new family. Maybe she's busy. She has things to do with her new family, and we all wanted to give her that space. So that's exactly what we did, and eventually we thought she'll come around when things settle a bit. But we had no idea that she's going through all this. We had absolutely no idea. The only thing she had mentioned to me before her marriage was that she's been a model and an actress, so her mother-in-law was not happy about her pictures being online, and they would pressurize her
okay.
to remove those
Yes.
pictures, to bring those pictures down, and she did that. She
Yeah, she
took down all the
deactivated her
pictures.
account. Yeah.
Yeah,
She
she
made
took
it
down-
private.
Yes, she took down all her pictures, but they would say that they are still there on other multiple sources, which we had no access to. We could not do anything about it. And it's not that she didn't try. She asked a lot of people, "Can I take those down?" But we didn't have rights to do that, so we would constantly keep telling her things over that. So that's the only thing she told me before the marriage, that they are pressurizing her to take those pictures down.
Did she at some point describe her husband? What was he like? Did she say anything about him, good, bad?
No, she was actually very happy that she was getting married to Samarth, and she was very excited about her wedding. She was a little scared of the mother-in-law because she comes across as a strong personality, but that's about it.
Interesting. Let me bring in Rashi and Kanchan into the conversation as well. Kanchan, what is it that you remember? What is it that you can add for our viewers to this? Anything that resonates with you as well, rings a bell that yes, I had a similar conversation with Twisha. This was my last conversation where I felt, sometimes you speak to a friend, even if it's after a long time, and you just feel like, okay, something is off. They're not sounding the same. They don't have the same personality anymore. Anything of that sort?
Yeah, so Twisha was my flatmate, and we stayed together for around 3 years. And she was always like my elder sister, and she has always been protective towards me and given all the love that I was looking for a elder sister, because I am the eldest one. So she has always been that figure for me in my life. And for these 3 years, she has taught me so much. Regarding her personality, I would say she was spiritual. She was very the spark of the room, we can say, and her vibe was very high. And we all are very sad about the fact that this happened, and the fact that this has come out like suicide, which she cannot commit. And I spoke to her few days before this happened, and in my conversations, she was sitting in a park, and she was telling me that I can't talk to you much. I have to tell you so many things, and a lot of things are going on. And I have to tell you everything, but I cannot because my husband is running around and he is looking at me. Which was a matter of concern for all of us, maybe like whoever has spoken to her for the last time, that how can the girl who was so independent and so self-made has turned into a person who is scared and who is giving these weird answers that she's scared of her husband. This made us, all of us, concerned.
Kanchan, when was
About
this
her.
conversation? Roughly, do you remember a timeline? When
This was exactly 10 days before this all happened.
So 10 days before Twisha passed, her
Yeah.
friend is now confirming that there was an odd conversation that she had where she was visibly scared of her husband, where on the phone she said that I'm scared that he's looking at me and there's a lot that I have to unload and tell you about, but I can't right now because he's currently looking at me, and they were in a park at this point in time. So Kanchan, what I mean, I'm sure you were a little taken aback by this conversation, but were you able to sort of keep a tab for the next few days, you know, just checking in on her, sending maybe messages?
I try to check on her. I told her that whenever you are free, whenever it is possible for you to call me back, please do that. Even I tried to call her once, but she did not pick it up. And I spoke to Samarth also, her husband. She just gave me the phone to him that she is my friend and he's Samarth. She just introduced because I could not go to their wedding. She
Okay.
just introduced, and I simply told him that please take care of my sister. She is very precious to us. That's all.
Okay.
That's all.
And what did Samarth sound like on the phone?
To be very honest, he sounded little witty, but it was Twisha's choice, so we could never like go against that, right? And the fact that she was scared of him, she was not able to talk to her friends, and she also told me that my mother-in-law comes in the room whenever I speak to my family or my friends, and she'll just simply come and sit beside me and she'll listen to whatever she's saying.
She said that to you, Kanchan?
Yeah, she did.
That her
She did.
mom-in-law would just come into the room and listen in on her conversations.
Absolutely, she did.
See, and you know, this is what obviously it's very important to get this perspective. Kanchan, thank you for that. You've shared quite a few details there. Rashi, bringing you in as well. Rashi, last but not least, I'd like to understand from you, what is it that you can share with our viewers about Twisha?
Ma'am, I would genuinely want to highlight that he was a dreamer. He's always been an explorer. You would see how passionate she was about anything that she would do. She was a very kind-hearted person. Whatever she had in her heart, she would say it out. No fakeness, nothing. The last time I met her was at her brother's wedding. And one very weird thing, like how Kanchan said that he kept looking at her, I have noticed this at the wedding. He would never leave her alone. If she would come to speak to anybody, he was always around. Even if she's going to the washroom in a room with somebody, he would come and sit just like that. And at that moment, you feel that maybe somebody has just recently gotten married and this person has just come to the family. So maybe he's not very comfortable with so many people around. But you can now think of these things, and maybe this was it, that he would never leave her alone. So she got a chance to speak to somebody about anything. And all the time he would just be around. So, which was obviously back then it did not feel that weird, but now when you think of it, it was very weird.
So did Twisha ever share anything, Rashi, at that point in time, that something is uncomfortable, that she's not, too happy, or that any sort of incident that maybe she talked about?
Like I said, we genuinely didn't get the time to speak. We spoke, everything that was spoken of was spoken in front of Samarth being around. We spoke about how everything is so nice around and family members are getting together after so long. That's why everybody is so emotional and all of that, but not anything related to what was happening to her or any distress at her family.
Okay, Kanchan, I want to come back to you because you're the one who's most recently been able to be in touch with her. Did she ever explain how she was coping with maybe some of these pressures of just, having someone watch you all the time and your every next word and every next call? Did she ever say, this is how I'm coping with it?
So since she got married, I tried to call her so many times, but again, like Manika said, we tried to give her space. We thought that she has gotten married and we should like give her that space to know the family and like whatever. But I texted her, I called her, she never used to pick up, she never used to reply. and whenever she used to reply, it was like a very small message or something. That one day she picked the call and she simply told me that I can't talk much. मैं ज़्यादा बात नहीं कर सकती, and I will Samarth is there, he's running around, and she was sitting in the park. She said my life is fucked, and I'm sorry for the
Yeah,
word.
it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll mute that out later.
Yeah, she said that it's very difficult and so many things are going around, and so basically I also have some problems with my in-laws, and she was telling me, she was sharing that I don't know how you are taking it and how you are handling these things, but it is getting very difficult for me. And my mother-in-law comes in my room randomly. I'm talking to my family, I'm talking to friends. I don't have privacy, I don't have any liberty, and I don't feel free to speak to anybody in the house.
And how long was this conversation, Kanchan? Roughly, how much time did she get to speak to you on the phone?
Maybe like 10 to 15 minutes mostly.
Ma'am, I have something to say.
Yes, Manika, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's one common friend. I think she couldn't join the call right now, but I spoke to her and she told me she is in Bangalore basically. She told me that Twisha did contact her for she was looking for job after her job was not there. She was looking for other jobs and she contacted her for the same. And she also said the same thing. The calls were very abrupt. She used to randomly call, and within like 2-3 minutes, not talking much, very cut to cut, she used to talk. Let me know whatever can be done. Give me contacts for job. I will apply in Bhopal, and that's it. That's about it. She used to cut the call, and she is not somebody who cuts the call 10 minutes mein. She's somebody who would speak and yap
long conversation.
for hours, from asking how are you to telling how she is, and everything in the world she used to talk about. She was so vocal and expressive. Also, we couldn't sense, but when my sister saw her in Harshit's wedding, it didn't look as if she's a newly happily wed. She dressed very simple. She didn't put any makeup on. She didn't wear proper ornaments that a newlywed, like she was just married. She married in December, and in March, a newlywed glows. If somebody is happy in her marriage, that the newlywed glow was not there. My sister was very surprised, and my sister said, "Ki, why are you dressed so lightly? It's your brother's wedding, plus you are a newlywed bride. What's wrong with you?" She simply said, "Mera man nahi tha." And that she covered up with, because uncle Tusha's father had a bypass surgery. He got a stroke in March. So she covered up with that she is very stressed about that. And but it's now when I think of it, when my sister told me, we genuinely thought, because she was very close to her parents and obviously her father.
All right.
नहीं मन करता होगा, it's very obvious, but still now when I think of it, it feels very off. She wasn't happy, and it was kind of evident, but all of us couldn't sense. Maybe we sense, but we ignore. I don't know what happened. She was covering it up all so well, and she couldn't get the time to speak up. She didn't speak. She was not herself, how she used to be before marriage, and she used to stand for her friends and her family. She used to fight for everybody, and she couldn't fight for her. It's definitely something broke her down. They broke her mentally, they broke her confidence, what not. I don't know what they exactly did with her, but it was not her. It was not our Twisha, what we knew her.
Well,
And they've also limited communication with her and everybody else to, again, suppress her over everything that she may have wanted to said, other than completely breaking her as a person, someone who we speak so positively about.
Post she got married also, we tried to reach out to her so that maybe we wanted to send her a gift, a wedding gift. But she stopped responding to our messages only. She didn't respond for a very long time. We kept asking her, "Can you send us your address? We want to send you a wedding gift," but we did not get anything. Maybe from the beginning only they were trying to cut communication with all of us so that she would not be able to tell us anything, and they would break her confidence.
That's, I
And another note that I'd like to add,
yes, Manav, go
something
ahead.
that is being circulated online, that Samarth and Twisha met on a dating site, which is not true. They met on a matrimonial site, after which they decided to get engaged and get married.
Okay. You know,
And uh, out of everyone who's speaking here, no one has a certain clear thing to say about her as to what has happened after the wedding, because she has been kept in complete and utter uncertainty from their family, the in-laws,
so,
not
so
being allowed to speak out.
So that's precisely what I was coming to. That when I speak to at least 7 to 8 people that I've spoken to tonight, who are all Twisha's friends, firstly that indicates to me that she had a large social circle in today's world. Most of us just have a bunch of friends. I can count mine on one hand, and here is a person who had such a large social circle that so many people have been able to come in and join us and give us their memories and perspectives of her. But at the same time, one aspect is pretty clear, that something changed dramatically after her wedding to Samarth. On that note, I thank everyone for joining us. You've shed some very important light into who Twisha was as a person, and hopefully this will help clear out some of the big questions that have come her way as well ever since this case has come to light. On that note, I thank everyone for joining us on NewsX, for giving us your side and your perspective. I know it's a tough time for all of you, so more power, more energy to all of you to cope with this tough situation. With that, viewers, a very short break.